At the BSH this year, we're having a symposium on accelerating patient outcomes in lymphoma. There's a real need for this because there are a lot of new therapeutics out there, some of which hold great promise for patients with different subtypes of lymphoma. And the challenge really for us as a medical community is to assess them quickly but thoroughly. And it is important to assess thoroughly. And I think one of the perhaps unintended negative consequences of too much of a push to assess medicines quickly is to perhaps ignore randomized trials or other key scientific investigations like that. So I hope that we won't leave the session with a less rigorous scientific approach. I hope it'll be more rigorously scientific. But I think the way to accelerate patient outcomes within that framework is first of all to use good biology. Now, biology does not always predict the outcome of how medicines perform, but if you don't have a good biological basis for a particular new therapeutic, then really you can pretty much guarantee that you won't have a positive outcome. So using good biology is really important, and we've got Gail Glentz who's coming to discuss that at our symposium, which should be very enlightening. The second thing I think we have to do is to use our statistician colleagues to come up with trial designs which are flexible and which can be very efficient. So I think gone are the days, or hopefully gone are the days, of the traditional 3+3 phase 1 trial, which is very time consuming, it's quite laborious, and often actually the chance of you getting the right dose limiting, right maximum tolerated dose is actually relatively low. Much more favourable now are the more sort of continuous reassessment models that are coming in, that are quicker, more flexible. You can treat more patients in one go, and you can use the data in a much more flexible and robust way. So I think using these trial designs is important, and we're hearing from Amy Kirkwood about new methods to improve our particularly early phase trial designs. And then finally, we actually need to use the drug. So it's all very well doing these wonderful trials that show a drug works, but in a resource limited health system that we have in the UK and that many countries around the world have, we actually need to get access to these drugs. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Peter Clark from NHS England will say about how we can access these drugs in a timely fashion.